asthechakramturns. I'm Helen.
I'm Bryn.
And we are going to be talking about Xena, Season 3, Episode 14?
I don't remember.
13?
I effed up the,
Yeah, you stopped counting. Nice going.
Yeah.
Anyway, One Against an Army is the name of the
12,
episode.
13?
I think it's episode 13.
Yes. One Against an Army. Yeah. It starts off with as if nothing has happened, really.
Yeah, it
between
does
our
kind of
two.
pick up as though, like, they're fine and they didn't just come from a magical world of singing and dancing.
Yeah.
And that both their children aren't dead.
Yeah. Seems a little...
Sus.
Yeah.
As the children would say.
We have Gabrielle practicing a flip with her staff.
Yes.
And she's landing just fine, doing it all.
Yeah, she's doing it like a bar. She's using it as a bar to go over to do a flip. So she's trying to just get the momentum down to do it properly.
So she's like, okay, I've got him. This time without the staff. And Xena's like, hey, I did it 300 times without, with the staff. Let's just hold off on that.
Yeah.
And she tries to mock Xena. She's a slow learner. But no, I've learned all the mechanics. I know everything that you do because I study you. And she pulls out from her bra a little makeshift Xena doll.
Yeah, made from twigs and stuff.
To show off the trajectory and blah, 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 blah.
And the speed. And Xena's like, which foot do I jump off of?
And she's like, you're trying to trick me. She's not.
No, she's not.
There's a method.
Yeah, because if you go off the wrong foot, you hurt yourself.
Which, exactly what happens.
It is exactly what happens. And it's funny because Xena she doesn't say I told you so, but she does...
Not using those words.
She does kind of suggest that it's okay to be wrong from time to time.
It's okay. You made a mistake.
It happens.
And the grin she's giving as she's saying this, right?
Hey, if Gabrielle hadn't been so snotty about it, maybe it wouldn't have been such a problem.
That's when I agree. There isn't. And Gabrielle at this point, with a severely sprained ankle, is being stubborn and using her staff as a crutch.
Yep.
Saying everything was fine and she just needs to walk it off.
Yeah, she's not hurt at all.
Xena, being smart, yells at her to hit the ground. And as she jumps, she slices her laces off with her chakram so she could take a look at Gabrielle's ankle.
Yes. Did she slice the laces off or did she slice the boot open?
I think she sliced the boot open because the whole running gag of it is that she has to get her new boots.
Right. So, yeah, they're not really clear on that, to be honest. But it is what it is. So they do that while Xena has decided to invent a new way of treating sprains, apparently. This guy comes up, out of breath, telling them that they've got to get out of the way because the Persians are in Greece and heading to... I'm not going to say his name. It's a long name.
Phidippides.
There, she said it. What she said. So this actually freaks Xena out a little bit. She gets a little sketchy about it because she has fought the Persians. This is why she says all the other words. Or encountered them at least once, twice.
Because she's like across that, because she asked the questions of like, is this what their ships look like? And she's like, it's the Persians. These are the most ruthless fighting force you've ever come across.
Yeah. And that if they make it to Athens, then Athens is lost and Greece is lost. So they have to slow down the Persians so the Athenian army can get going.
Which then makes me wonder, with our experience with the Athenian army.
I don't remember the Athenian army all that well.
Well, we had the Athenian army when it came down to the Horde and they got destroyed.
Yeah, they're bad.
We had the Athenian army at another place where they got wiped out. I mean, not running a good...
They are the biggest army, aren't they, in Greece?
I think so.
Technically. Actually don't know how that all works. I'm not going to go into it.
No. So they send Phidippides on his way.
To go warn Athens. And then they pack Xena up. They pack Gabrielle up. Put her on Argo. Because she's got this sore ankle and can't do anything. And then tries to come up with a plan to stop the army, which they decide is going to be at the pass of Thermopylae.
Where they were trying to do a landslide.
Right. A land.
Do you know the town that they were heading to? Because Gabrielle's like 2 against an army and...
Tripolis.
Ah.
Tripolis is the town that they're going to because that's where Xena has a militia. Or army.
The weapons.
Army that they could use the Tripolis militia.
Yes.
Right. So they start heading towards that so that they can get some of the things, so that they can take the landslide and take out the pass of Thermopylae. And then they come across another person. What's this guy's name?
He's dressed as a Spartan and claimed his name was Dorian.
Dorian, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And Xena, as Xena does, knocked him down and be like, "You've been following me for the last half an hour. What's your issue?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, "You're going to give me your horse. I got to go and warn people and blah, blah." And she's like, "Yeah, you're not going to do that."
Yeah, I'm not giving you my horse. And you're not going to warn anyone. He's got a giant wound on his back.
Flesh wound.
Yeah, tis just a flesh wound. And Xena clocks him as a deserter really, really fast. And then he just, like, gives into this and is like, "I'm a coward," and just plays it up hard.
Yep. Start talking about how, I forget what city he said he lived in, Spartan. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that famous waterfall's there." And he's like, "I dream of seeing that waterfall again."
Yeah.
And this is all an interrogation.
Well, for Xena, for Gabrielle's just like, "Oh, what about your son?" Because she's just hurt and making chit chat. She's got to see the best in everybody.
That does stop at some point, right?
Persians end up, like, the Persian scouting party ends up coming out and attacking. Xena goes and fights off, 8 of them?
Yep.
While this Dorian guy just, stands there and freezes. So Gabrielle goes and gets him to go back into battle, and of course her doing this gets her shot with a fucking poison arrow.
Well, she was like, "Fight or take refuge," because she kicks him.
Yeah, she does. She does kick him.
Yeah, she kicks him. She's like, "Fight or take refuge." So they're both heading back into the wooded area to take refuge, and that's when the arrow goes through her chest.
Sort of. It goes, like, on a weird angle that doesn't make any sense.
In her torso?
Yeah, it's a weird angle that doesn't make any sense.
We'll discuss that nonsense, because that...
It doesn't make any sense in how, like... It's almost like they did it and they didn't realize the implications of where she got shot. Because she gets shot... She gets shot pretty much in the middle of her back, on her left side.
Wouldn't that hit a lot of nerves?
It's not just that. It would have hit a lung. There's no way it would have avoided a lung. There's just no way it would have
died a lot sooner.
Yeah, and she might have hit the heart, too, if it was going all the way through. Like, it was low enough that it could have gone right through the lung on her back. But I'm trying to, they tried to convince me that they angled it up towards the collarbone.
Now I'm trying to map out the trajectory of how that would have happened to do it that way. And
it's possible really we're thinking way too much about this.
Well, I know you are, considering your anatomy lessons that you've had. And you find these things out. But, so that Persian scouting party gets defeated, runs away. Xena goes to Gabby and gets Dorian to start a fire. As he's like, "I'm so sorry, I froze again." And Gabrielle's like, "It's okay, it's okay."
Yeah, she's trying to be strong and, comfort him, despite the fact that it was his fault she got fucking shot in the first place.
And Xena's already wants to kill him.
Yeah, she's very, very close to it. But she needs him for her little plan.
So, Xena goes and does her healing thing. And as she, pulls out the arrow...
I don't want to talk about that either, because that's wrong.
That's one of my notes.
Pulling out arrows is wrong. It's wrong. It would have been bad. Also, there was just no blood. And I get that this is a kid's show, but, anyway, let's get off of that because I could go on about her wound not making any sense for a long time.
Clearly. If you want to hear more about that, feel free to email.
Or just come bug me on TikTok. Helen used to be a nurse. Helen talks about herself in third person apparently today.
That's okay. So they go and tell Dorian that there's a landslide.
Yes.
Gabrielle was smart here and didn't argue or fight back or say anything. She just kept her mouth shut.
Because she knew Xena was lying, and for once, she understood that if Xena was lying, it might be for a good reason. I'm bitter. I'm still bitter. Okay.
So Dorian goes off to be like, this is amazing, they're going to be slowed, and runs away.
Yeah,
and
to go warn, like, the other people.
Gabby's like, why did you tell him there's a landslide? We haven't done that yet. For Jean to be like, because he's a Persian.
Yeah, because he didn't have, like... Anyway, he didn't have all the ways that she knew that Spartans...
Because Spartans at the age of 8 were told to hold a wooden dowel.
Yeah.
So they could strengthen their hands when there wasn't a callus on the hand and there's no waterfall, and that doesn't exist.
Yeah, told the whole plan.
So now they don't have to go and make the landslide, and they can make up that time instead of doing the landslide to get to Tripolis.
Yeah.
Tripoli.
Tripoli. To Tripolis to get the antidote for the poison arrow and to get the Tripolis militia on guard and set up to stop this army.
So we get to Tripolis.
Yeah, except there's no Tripolis
It's
anymore.
been raised.
It's been raised. And Xena assumes that they did it themselves to prevent the Persians from getting anything. But that means she's down an army.
Yes. And no antidote, because she went, like, this would be the apothecary hut, and she comes out holding the broken vial.
Yeah. She wants to go to Athens, and Gabrielle does not want to.
No, Gabrielle wants to stop the Persian army.
Yeah.
And once again, Xena proving that Gabrielle is the most important thing to her.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like, we'll still make it back. We'll go to Athens, get you your antidote. I can come back here.
Yeah, there's no time to do that, though. She thinks she's a goddess for some reason.
And so Gabrielle finally wins out, saying, like, it's the greater good. You've taught me this. We have to stay and stall the army. Because the weapons were still there, at least.
Yeah, that's true. They got to the little, like, hut place where Xena had stored all the weapons. And the weapons were all there. Except she was one person. And Gabrielle is getting sicker, which is not making Xena focus any better.
No.
On planning.
No.
But they get all set up in the little hut so that Xena can prepare and so that Gabrielle can just lay there and try and die. Well, it's a weird episode because the rest of it's just them chit-chatting until the very end.
Yeah, but there was a point where Xena's making the tar, I think it was.
Yeah.
And her hand was just sitting in the fire.
Boiling oil. Yeah, it was sitting in the
fire. There was a cutscene to the Persian cavalry, which is the advance party.
Yeah.
It looks like it was taken from, like, 1960s footage.
It is pretty rough. It's pretty rough. There's a few things like that. But then also, okay, so we're supposed to assume that the advance party is 300 to 400 soldiers, right? That's the bad math that Gabrielle did.
Yes.
And Xena is just one person. At least Gabrielle at this point is like, yeah, that's not bad at all. I thought we were outnumbered and in trouble. And then, like, so the next thing is Gabrielle's suddenly a prophet. Can we talk about how Gabrielle's suddenly a prophet? I was just about
to bring this in where Gabrielle starts going into delirium from the poison.
Yeah.
Because she's like, you have to take me with you. I don't belong in Pododia. Like, I have the gift of prophecy. Which one has never been brought up before?
Never been brought up before.
Never gets brought up again.
Never gets brought up again. In fact, like, the next vision of prophecy comes from Xena.
Shock.
Never brought up again for her either. We just have things, and things happen, and...
So, Well, Gabrielle, in her sweat-drenched delirium, is going on about how she could be of help to Xena.
Yeah.
Xena gets all sentimental and things, says, like, you know, you're the biggest help to me. And, oh. It's just...
I feel like we need that clip of Uncle Roger. Emotional
No
damage. Great time.
Oh.
But Gabrielle does warn Xena of a man with a double-edged sword.
That comes from the ceiling.
That comes from the ceiling. And it's just...
Which, during her prophecy vision, the guy who jumps from the ceiling, like falls down from the ceiling, grabs a hold of Xena and has time to slice Xena's throat as slow as he does it.
Yeah, there's no way Xena would let that happen.
It's just like, do you know your friend? Because I don't think you know your friend. This is your best friend.
Fever dreams. Okay, fever dreams are weird.
You do know that.
I do know that. I have weird fever dreams.
The amount of times I'm like, I would never do that. The amount of times I've gotten in trouble for your dreams.
This is a common complaint from people that I know.
So, yeah, not only is the prophecy thing never brought up again, the vision itself never made sense.
I didn't even check the vision not making sense. A lot of it doesn't make sense. One of my favorite shots is when Xena has Gabrielle over her shoulder and is carrying up the ladder.
The very obvious dummy.
I can't. I can't. And then how did she get the whole freaking cauldron of oil up there? Was it a pulley system?
I would imagine it was a pulley system because it was a pulley system to, like, she rigged it up so that it would tilt over and drop on people.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it's a pulley system.
They don't show Xena setting up all of the traps that she uses, which I thought was kind of cool. So it's kind of a surprise to see how many she set. Was a lot.
While being distracted.
Yes.
They tried to come through a window and the spring-loaded spears blocked the window so they couldn't get through.
Until they cleared those bodies anyway.
Well, they'd have to clear the bodies and push that thing down again.
Also, I want to talk about why would this army focus on this one building? It is a building that's out of the way. It's not, like, it's literally not on there.
That's because Xena called them. She opened that barn door to go...
Yeah, but she's one person. What army is stupid enough to go find one person?
Persians.
Apparently.
It's just like... Well, maybe they thought it would be more than one person.
Maybe they thought it was... Yeah, maybe they thought it was a bunch of people, and then it turned out to be just the one person. Very heavily armed one person. And
then the archers, there was like maybe 10 arrows that get thrown into the doors after she closes.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to believe that there's supposed to be 400 of these men coming.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Anyway, these are the things that are driving me crazy while I'm watching the episode. Tiny little stupid things.
And so they're coming, trying to tackle this barn that they're all in. Xena and Gabrielle are in.
Yeah. And
the fight itself.
It's one part great and one part ridiculous.
And I love it.
Because, like, there's some really good fight choreography, but then there's also the part where she boings back and forth off of the people.
With the boingy sound effect.
With the boingy sound effect.
Boing, boing.
So it's a lot.
So while it's a heavy episode, they still found a way to put some humor into it.
Yes.
During the fight, Dorian says, "I told you I'd bring friends," as he's like hovering over Gabrielle.
He came in through the roof trying to kill Gabrielle. That's right.
And once again, the moment Gabrielle is in trouble, Xena's senses kick in to be like, my Gabby senses are tingling.
Yeah.
Gabrielle's in trouble. It must be Tuesday.
Saturday. It's just Saturday.
And so she goes to Gabs to grab a hold of Dorian, throw him, get him stabbed by another poisoned arrow, and leaves him to die.
Yeah.
Well, lets him go. She's like, ah ha 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 ha, you're now poisoned too.
Yep, you can die just like her. You can die just like Gabrielle. And of course, she leaves him to die, and he goes over to the antidote, which she steals. Not before he drinks it, though, which I think is shitty.
I didn't think he got any.
He says, do you feel better? She said, do you feel better now that you got that?
Ah.
That's the only reason why.
She doesn't let him live, though.
She doesn't. As she shouldn't.
No. So, at the end of all of it, they all flee because they can't beat the one woman.
Yeah. And
400 men.
She's like, there's so many more of me. I'm like, no, there's not.
Yeah. She's like, that's right, you run. We have an army of me. It's like,
no, they don't.
And she goes to get Gabrielle the antidote. And they then snuggle up on the loft together.
Like best friends do.
Was this the episode that Hudson did a commentary on?
I don't remember.
Because, yes, there was an episode where Hudson did the commentary on where she was like, listen to your wife, Xena.
I don't think it was this one, but I don't know.
You didn't cry on this one?
I did not.
Were you close?
I refuse to answer the question.
That kind of tells me yes.
No, it doesn't tell you anything.
Yes, dear.
I do know that this is one of those episodes that, despite not being an episode that centers around the big story or an episode that's filled with a lot of, like, bigness, it did make its way onto the 10th anniversary DVD special set.
Well, it's a big one.
But it's one of the only, like...
One-offs?
Yeah, that did. That wasn't, like, a big event kind of thing.
And I'd like to point out she knows this because she owns it.
I do own the 10th anniversary edition specialty thing. I do.
The disclaimer of this episode is Gabrielle's ankle was harmed during the production of this motion picture.
Yes.
I was rating it as a 7.
7 is, yeah, that seems about right.
It is one you want to watch.
It is definitely worth a watch.
Yes.
It is definitely an important episode. It's referenced again, but in, like, weird ways. Like, the themes of the episode are referenced a lot. And I think if you ever wanted to understand their relationship, it's the best one to watch.
I want to say I'm impressed you, man. We get something funny next, right?
I don't have any idea. I think so. I think King Kong is next. Which is a good time. Yeah. Nope. Forgiven is next. Then we get something funny.
Oh, shit. We're not done the trauma.
I don't wanna... What is Forgiven? Forgiven is the Tara one. Tara, is that her name?
Oh, yep.
The kid
right.
with the dancing.
Tara. So it's not funny.
That's true. That's true.
It's just important because she comes back.
That's true. It's very, very, very true.
Oh, this is the one. Oh, yeah. There's going to be moments in that one that are going to be fine. It's good.
I know. I'm fine with this episode. It's okay.
But yeah, definitely worth the watch. One you should watch to have a better understanding.
You can tell us what you thought about it. Hopefully some of you have wanted
asthechakramturns. You can email us at asthechakramturns@gmail.com. And in the meantime, we should get another episode in.
Yes, we should. Hopefully, we'll be back sooner.
This one was just a little hard.
Also, it's just a weird time of year.
There's that. It's been a lot happening.
Yeah.
So, with that, that's us signing off for today. Hope to hear from you next time.
Awkward silence!
Yeah, it was your turn to say bye!
Okay, we will see you next time. Bye!